Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Nassau County Board of Commissioners meeting, 5 p.m., April 14, 2025. Please rise and join me for the invocation by Mr. Irving Gilliard, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. Oh, Heavenly Father, we honor you, we praise you, we give you all the glory. And we're so thankful for this meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. And as they go through this agenda, we just ask that you lead and guide them in the best decision making for the citizens of Nassau County. And we still ask a blessing for those that support them through the county manager's office and through the county attorney's office, and those that support those offices as well. Continue to look and bless our first responders as they go through their daily work, through dangers they may see and dangers they don't see. And Lord, there's let some family that's in bereavement, and we just ask for special blessing for them tonight as they go through their grieving period, that you just touch their minds and their hearts and comfort them. Continue to look on our military as they protect this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
County Manager, any expansions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCullough. Here. Commissioner Farmer.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
And Chair Hutland.
Here.
And absent is Commissioner Gray.
Thank you very much, ma'am. County Manager, any expansions or deletions for the agenda?
Not this evening, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. County Attorney?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Proclamations and resolutions. Tab A, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners in Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming the week of April 13th through 19th as National Animal Control Appreciation Week. I'll entertain a motion on tab A.
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. If you guys would join me here at the podium, I'd like to recognize our animal control officers and staff. Thanks for being here this evening. Proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners in Nassau County, Florida, Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week, April 13th through 19th, 2025. Whereas animal care and control agencies across the country provide essential community functions, including the enforcement of animal control laws, protecting the public from diseases such as rabies, educating the public on the proper care of pets. Whereas Nassau County Animal Services continues to qualify as a no-kill shelter. Due to their outstanding efforts in ensuring that animals entering the facility leave the facility through various avenues, including but not limited to adoptions, fostering, returning to owners, and transfers to animal rescue groups. And whereas fiscal year 2023-24, Animal Control Services responded to 7,066 calls for service. Additional efforts include the adoption of 1,698 pets, transferring 109 pets to rescue groups to enhance their chances of adoption, and hosting and participating in 79 animal adoption events. And whereas employees of Nassau County Animal Care and Control work tirelessly to keep the community informed about animal control laws, how to properly care for their pets, raising the awareness for each pet needing adoption. Most importantly, they keep animal shelters clean, providing the animals with love and care that they deserve while waiting to find their forever homes. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, 14th day of April 2025, the week of April 13th through 19th, 2025, hereby declared as Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week. The Board extends their sincere appreciation to all the employees of the Nassau Animal Care and Control Facility for all you do in keeping the community clean and safe from infectious diseases and animals running at large, including chickens. I've signed that as chairman of the board, and it's also signed by County Attorney Denise May. Congratulations. Jeff, I'm not sure about that. A few words, if you would, please.
Just want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to receive this and work for Nassau County and better Nassau County in animal laws and animal husbandry.
Thanks for all you do. We're grateful. All right. Tab B, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners, Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming April 9th as Education and Sharing Day.
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Farmer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? We will present that at another function. Thank you for approving that. Tab C, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners in Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming April 2025 as Water Conservation Month.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 0. It passes 4-0. Madam Clerk. Commissioner Martin, if you wouldn't mind reading that proclamation for Water Conservation Month. Is there someone here? Nope, we're not going to read that one either. We're just going to present them at another time.
I believe he may be in traffic.
Yeah, okay. All right. Maybe if he comes, we could do it at the end. Just hold that for now. Strange day out there.
There's just no way to get here if you're coming.
No, I understand, yeah.
Something going on.
Yeah.
Fire
St.
rescue.
Mary's, tab D presentation, St. Mary's River Management Committee, annual report. Probably also in traffic, right? All right.
17.
It's going to be a quick meeting.
Consent items. If any board member wishes to move a consent item to new business, please do so now.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Martin?
I would like to, and I've already given Mr. Ironman a heads up on on all of these. I would like to move tabs F, H, J, K, L, P, and Q to new business.
F, H, J, K, L, P, and Q.
Correct.
Got it? I was going to move F, so any other commissioners on the moving consent items? Okay. I'll entertain a motion, consent items, tab E, G, I, M, N, and O.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent items pass. New business. Any member of the public may address any item under new business at this time. Time limit is 3 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to address an item under new business? Seeing none. Mr. Companion, that would make you first on tab F, sir.
Well, Mr. Chairman, while Mr. Companion is coming up here, on tabs F, H, J, K, L, the main, and as you know from the past 4 years, I typically move things that are big ticket items. It's not that I have an opinion one way or the other on them. I just think big ticket items like these should be on the record and explained.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir. Tab F is for your consideration for the design contract for County Road 121 for the 2nd through 5th phase, which would be from County Road 119 to US 1. This number, 3.4 million, is large for a design project, but let's remember this is 27 and a half miles of roadway. Break that out over an average, it's roughly a little over $125,000 per mile, which is actually well under the average for design costs for roadways for reconstruction. We don't imagine this phase will be as in-depth as the current 121 Phase 1 project, which stretches from Duval County to 119, which is a full reconstruction. We imagine this one will have spot reconstruction, and most of the roadway will be resurfacing and some treatments to drainage. So for those reasons that wanted to also point out about 1.2 million of that 3 million is for survey and geotechnical evaluation to make sure that we're getting the right limits on the roadway to know where we need to make those repairs full depth, which ones where we can do just less reconstruction, and then which ones can be just simply repaved and resurfaced. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may
Yeah, I
have on that.
appreciate the clarification on that. I received a call from the public on that as well. Mr. Farmer?
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say I appreciate the project moving forward. The community out there, they're seeing us out there doing some work and seeing people going and coming and moving some cones and, of course, some survey markers and, some ditches that are being worked on. And I told them, I said, I can assure you that, the project is still well underway. I said, and we've charted a path to where we can do this, and it'll be a one and done. It won't be a one and have to come back to it and babysit it after the course of the project. So just want to tell you, thank you, and, hey, sooner the better, So, and a motion to approve.
I have a motion from Commissioner Farmer. This is on tab F only.
Correct.
Second. Second from Commissioner Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. 4-0, Madam Clerk. Tab H, approve and authorize chairman to sign contract CM 3815, work authorization number 07, Jack's Utilities Management for culvert repair replacement in the amount not to exceed $975,000.
Yes, sir. This item is obviously something that we talked extensively about during the winter strategic planning session from 2024 and again in 2025. The number of work orders that we know that the road department has had, far exceeds their ability to accomplish all those work orders within roughly about a 3-year time frame. So this is where we looked for our contract assistance to get some of those work orders off the books there. So this is part of that. There was 2 parts of that discussion. One was digging the ditches, and one was culvert replacement. This is the culvert replacement portion of that work that we discussed at those events, those meetings.
Any other questions?
Move to approve tab H.
Okay,
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0, Madam Clerk. Tab J, approve and authorize chairman to sign contract CM 3880 with Elevate Partners LLC as a piggyback contract from St. John's for demolition services. St. John's County.
Yeah.
Mr. Mannion.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, this is a contract put in place to get a continuing contract with a demolition service. This could be used in 2 ways in the future, but each of those would require a separate work authorization, either executed by the board if it exceeded the amount the county manager could approve. But this is could be used in CIP projects where we need demolition services, or it could also be used in the case of code enforcement abatement where we have a structure that may be unsafe that needs to be abated by demolition.
Mr. Chairman, even though it doesn't say it in our printed agenda here under this tab, based on what I said earlier about moving big ticket items, if you look, and I'm sure we all did, you look into the details, it's a $1.5 million contract, so that's why I moved it.
Correct.
And if there are no other questions, I will move to approve tab J.
And I'll second it, but I also wanted to just follow up with the fact that going on the record, if the county manager doesn't see that he needs to spend that 1.5 million, that it doesn't mean he's gonna spend 1.5 million.
Mr. Pope?
That's correct. Each one of these, the 1.5 is a not to exceed on the contract just because it mirrors the St. Johns County contract. Each amount that's spent would be project-based and would be included in those budgets and, approved or come to you for consideration before
Correct.
any money spent.
Yeah, and we have several of these in different areas that are all working pretty effectively, so. Okay, I have a motion for Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye as well, sorry. 4-0. Tab K, approve and authorize chairman to sign CM 3832 with Pro Shot Concrete, piggyback contract for bridge and structure maintenance and repairs in an amount not to exceed $500,000.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, this is a part of your bridge maintenance program that is budgeted for each year. This work will be used to execute needed repairs that were identified in our biannual inspections that are performed in partnership with FDOT's contractors. And so they identify areas where additional work needs to be done using the Pro Shot technique. A lot of that is, a lot of times it has to do with erosion and stuff around the banks and not necessarily the bridge structure itself, but just to make sure that the embankment is stabilized. Sometimes it is work on the actual bridge structure just to cover areas where rebar is starting to become exposed. So there's a wide breadth of things here that they can cover, and that's what this is for, and it is budgeted for in your bridge and maintenance repairs.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve tab K.
Second.
Motion for Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. Tab L, approve and authorize chairman to sign contract CM 3886 with 10-8 Fire and Safety LLC for 2 new rescues in the amount not to exceed $737,964.00. Mr. Ironman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As part of the Board of County Commissioners' active fleet replacement program, we approve a certain budget amount each year. Typically, I believe we have about 2 rescue units we do annually. This continues that process so that we're continuing to replace those units so that as they get a lot of wear and tear driving around the county, we make sure we have new ones coming through the pipeline to continue that great service we provide.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve tab L.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Farmer. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. 4-0. Tab P, Sheriff's Business. Authorize the use of $3,000 from the Crime Prevention Trust Fund to donate $1,000 each to West Nassau High School, Yulee High School, and Hilliard Middle Senior School to assist in transportation of graduation night in Orlando.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Martin.
obviously, this is not a big ticket item.
Right.
I did not move that because of that. I think I know the answer to my question, but I noticed that we have 3 out of our 4 high schools that the sheriff is donating to, and the high school in my district, Fernandina Beach High School, was not included. If anyone knows the official answer to that reason, let me know, or I will opine on it. I just didn't want anyone wondering that watches this and reads, pays any attention to these decisions, then calling and going, hey, what about Fernandina Beach High School? Okay, I think I know the reason why. I think it's because that the Fernandina Beach Police Department does a similar thing for Fernandina Beach High School because they provide the SROs, the school resource officers in Fernandina Beach High School. So it's not a slight. The sheriff didn't leave Fernandina Beach out. It's just another agency that covers that high school for SROs does it. And I will make a motion to approve tab P.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. Tab Q, Sheriff's Business. Approve and authorize the removal of all available funds from the Equitable Sharing Treasury Fund, approximately $301,629, to be sent directly to the Department of Justice's Money Laundering and Asset Recovery section to partially satisfy Nassau County Sheriff's Office $556,618.15 remediation requirement. Mr. Ironman.
Perfect. This being one of the sheriff's items, I'll give you a brief update on it, but basically, through that money laundering and asset recovery section, we have a deputy that was in charge or working in that operation. That deputy was then convicted and sentenced for other crimes, and as such, there is a clawback from the DOJ on the grant funds that we received. We have that in excess of $300,000 in the fund. The remaining $200,000 will come out of the sheriff's budget, which will come from operational savings, typically vacancy factors where they've had unfilled positions while deputies are in the academy still working through.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Mr. Martin.
that second part that you said there, where that money's gonna come from, is that those conversations we've already had with the sheriff's budget people?
We've had the conversations that this is coming out of their budget. Now, keep in mind, the Board of County Commissioners funds all of the sheriff's budget. When they submit their budget, they anticipate certain expenditures, but typically they will have savings throughout the year, and in this case, they'll utilize this instead of other activities that they may have historically funded.
Okay.
Any other questions on this one? Tab Q.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Commissioner Farmer,
Second.
second from Commissioner Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. Continuing with new business. Tab R, approve finance package 2025-15 and associated budget transfers and resolutions. Mr. Ironman.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're going to have 2 budget items tonight on this. This first one represents as we're closing out the fiscal year, some of the cash carry forwards and transfers that occur. The reason they're broken up is the first action doesn't require public hearing, as these are transactions that fall within our budget policy to basically modify these budget line items with direct board approval. The later one, because it does have impacts to the actual budget amounts going up with the carry forwards, we will do the separate public hearing for that item. But essentially, this is part of the closeout of fiscal year 23-24 as we roll those numbers into the current fiscal year.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
so this is really a housekeeping item.
Yes, sir.
Even though it's a lot of money, it's a housekeeping item in the general category of cash carry forward.
Yes, and the one way to look at it too is, we budget in a fiscal year, but expenditures and revenues don't always fall within the confines of that fiscal year, and that's where we go through these carry forward transactions.
Move to approve tab R.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, 4-0. Tab S, approve the additional funding for the repair and replacement of the septic system of the Masons Rehabilitation Project. There's sufficient funding to cover the cost in the 2021-2022 funding year allocation. Further authorize the county manager to execute any and all necessary contract addendums and/or documents. Mr. Irons.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is part of our SHIP funding program. So as we're working with affordable housing, maintaining the inventory, this was a repair on a certain structure. In this case, there were some complexities with the septic system. Where the location was, we had to resolve those items. And at this point, it does increase the cost a little bit, so we need the board's direction to be able to supply a little bit more budget to get this one done. It will be funded out of those SHIP funds.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Commissioner Farmer,
Second.
second from Commissioner Martin. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. Tab T, authorize chairman to sign impact fee uses justification form, setting aside fire rescue impact fees collected for reimbursement, construction cost of tributary fire station and equipment, per fire rescue donation and impact fee credit agreement, CS-23-021, and 2, authorize the chairman to sign associated budget transfer. Mr. Ironman.
Yes. All right. So the great thing is, we've got tributary fire station number 10 coming online. Chief, what, Wednesday? So we will have a new station. We've got a ladder truck, an engine, all on order coming in, but we'll begin operations as we do this. This was handled through the DRI for the tributary, thank you, tied between the two. And so they've constructed it. I believe it's received by the county this evening. Part of that agreement is that there's a developer fee impact or an impact fee reimbursement agreement. As we receive it, they're eligible to receive portions of the impact fees that we received. This then goes through the transaction that we provide them the first $585,000 for their impact fee reimbursements.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Ironman?
I'd just like to say I'm tickled to death to see us get that thing up on its feet, and I know the fire chief is too. We ran into some obstacles with some gas issues, and the public has, it's going to be a warm welcome, let's say, to the community. And that station will serve western and eastern Nassau County, so it'll be a big shot in the arm for Nassau County Fire Rescue, and move to approve.
A motion from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, 4-0. Tab U, approve and authorize chairman to sign the first amendment to contract number CM3810 for the East Nassau Community Planning Area Mobility Improvement Reservation Agreement to correct the value of the agreement from the outdated sum of $1,984,530.92 to the correct final value of $2,048,128.27. Mr. Ironman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With this item, this had previously come before the board for the reservation agreement. There are multiple numbers in those agreements, and we did have one number that conflicted. The main part is the agreement, the amount that both parties agreed on, the amount that was approved by the board, is the amount that was paid. This just cleans it up for our records to make sure that there's no inconsistencies between numbers posted in the document. So a house cleaning item, if you will.
Any questions for Mr. Iron?
Move to approve tab U.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 0. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Aye.
you. So, thank you
Aye,
very
I'll be
much.
louder.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear it. Okay. Tab V, acknowledge the county's acquisition of real property located at 43124 Ice Hollow Trail, Callahan, effective February 28, 2025, pursuant to contract CM 3772 as part of the Thomas Creek Implementation Plan. Mr. Pope?
Yes, sir, thank you. You said it all, this is part of the Thomas Creek Implementation Plan. The County Attorney's Office is in good practice, has us recognized when we take ownership of these real property, and so that is tonight, we're recognizing acceptance of the deed.
All right, any questions for Mr. Pope?
I'd just like to say that this is a great program, and took us a long time to get this up on its feet, but this is indicative of the board's direction to take these repetitive loss properties and purchase them versus attempt to fix them every year. And I'm very, very proud of the program and tickled to see it move forward, and make a motion to approve.
A motion from Commissioner Farmer,
Second.
second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0, Madam Clerk. Tab W, acknowledge the county's acquisition of PDP-4 Community Park effective February 28th, 2025, pursuant to contract CM 3847 Park Donation Agreement with Wildlight LLC. Mr. Pope.
Yes, sir. Pursuant to the development agreement with the East Nassau Community Planning Area Sector Plan, there are certain properties that are to be conveyed to Nassau County for Parks and Recreation. This one was conveyed to us, and so again, we're acknowledging receipt of that property and recordation of the deed.
Any questions for Mr. Pope?
Move to approve tab W.
Second.
A motion for Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. 4-0, Madam Clerk. Tab X, move to continue this item considering the real property purchase and sale agreement dated December 11, 2024 with Mr. Kyle M. Twenter to a certain date of June 9th, 2025. Madam Attorney?
Yes, what we've got here is a need to extend this, and I'm going to ask Ms. Moore to come up and explain why we had a slowdown in acquiring that property. But basically, we do want to continue, we will be accruing the property, but Ms. Moore will explain.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. For the record, Beth Moore, Assistant County Attorney. This item was previously noticed for hearing on this evening, but due to some scheduling issues with the CLAM committee, the process is for the CLAM committee to hear this acquisition and vote on it to recommend. They weren't able to do that yet, so we're going to, we would ask that you continue this item to a date certain of June 9th to allow the CLAM committee to weigh in.
Okay. Any questions for Beth?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion for Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. Thank you. Tab Y, set a public hearing to consider a resolution to abandon a portion of Riverside Drive, Fernandina Beach. Application submitted by Ann Coonrod and the Commercial Range at Amelia LLC. Applicants and Jack Heelan, agent. Staff recommends May 12th, 2025. Mr. Hurst.
Caleb Hurst, Development Services. Mr. Chairman, this request is to set a public hearing to consider to abandon the unimproved portion of Riverside Drive, as you stated. We do recommend setting it for May 12th, 2025. If you have any questions, I'm here for.
Move to approve tab Y.
Second.
Commissioner Martin, motion, and Commissioner Farmer, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Hurst. Tab Z, set the public hearing to consider ordinance 2025-013, amending Chapter 35 of the Nassau County Code of Ordinances, the Conservation Lands Acquisition and Management Ordinance. Staff recommends April 28th, 2025. Madam Attorney?
There are some recommendations to make your CLAM manual more consistent with your CLAM ordinance, and so we have tweaked some of that language. They've been updating and meeting on the CLAM manual and making updates to that. So this is an update to the ordinance to bring those two in concert.
Move to approve tab Z.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? 4-0. Thank you. Legislative public hearings, tab AA, approved finance package 2025-14, associated resolutions to carry forward funds, make adjustments from the closeout of fiscal year 2023-2024 based upon cash carry forward calculations and to amend various revenues in the current year. I will open the floor for public discussion.
If you'd like me to
Madam
read those
Attorney, if you
procedures.
would read the legislative process.
Yes, and I'll make them very quick, and just to restate what I think Mr. Ironman has already told you, is the difference between this one and the other one is this is an increase in revenues in your budget year, which require a legislative hearing. A legislative hearing under the law is to give opportunity for everyone to speak for or against the item being considered. Speakers may come, they'll have 3 minutes to share their thoughts with you on this matter. They'll have 3 minutes. Sharing and transferring of time is not allowed. The clerk does control that time. You will then close that public hearing and vote on the item before you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Counselor. I'll open the floor for public discussion for tab AA. I do not have any speaker cards for tab AA. Okay. Staff presentation, Mr. Iron.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This kind of continues the discussion from item R this evening, where we identified some of the transfers and other items that didn't require the public hearing. But what we're looking at is this is the closeout of fiscal year 23-24. Essentially, it's the final cash forward calculations. So when you adopt the budget, you typically calculate an estimated cash carry forward, not knowing how many expenditures or revenues will be received through the end of the fiscal year. This is kind of the true-up calculation that we do at this point in time, modify those. So like number one on the list was the JEA revenue that we received, a little less than $100,000 more revenue that we received last year. We'll adjust our budget for this year, recognize that revenue as we go forward in the next year. And so it's little adjustments throughout the budget on those items.
Mr. Iron, this cleans up some of the comments also from the Purvis Gray audit, or are they separate from this?
These are, so when Purvis Gray closes their audit, that's when we have the actual numbers.
Right.
So that's where we come through and true these up based on the actuals.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you very much. There is not an applicant in this presentation. I have no public comment cards. Board questions for Mr. Ironman?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Martin?
if you're ready, I can make a motion.
Okay, I am ready, Mr. Martin.
Chairman, we need to close the floor.
Oh, let me do that first, Mr. Martin. Thank you, sir. Closing the floor to public discussion. All right. Board deliberations, if any. Mr. Martin.
Mr. Chairman, based on a review of the applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve the finance package and associated resolutions.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Voice vote. I'm sorry, we're going to voice vote this. Sorry, Commissioner Martin.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
and Commissioner Martin,
Yes?
and Chair Huffman.
Yes,
And that's 4 ayes, 0 nays.
thank you.
Gotcha.
Madam Clerk, yep. Informational items, tab AB is the Board of County Commissioners newsletter. We dozed the newsletter. It is now a quarter of its original size. No, actually, Ms. Robertson, I want to tell you, one,
I like it, like this.
I'm not as old, I'm not the oldest member of this board, but
Hey.
I can read this just fine. And I think that it's a great product. You can take it with you easily, tuck it in your pocket. It's clearly more efficient and effective use of our resources, and so I commend you on that. I think it's well done.
I am the oldest member of this board, and I concur.
All right, thank you for your, so well done, Ms. Robertson. That's a great product, and I encourage folks to pick one up. It's the, starting with the February newsletter, so. Public comment. Comments can be for items under the authority of the Board of County Commissioners. Time limit is 3 minutes, and I'd like to welcome Ms. Jackie Osborne as our one public speaker for this evening. It's a lot of pressure, Ms. Osborne. I hope you have something good to say.
Thanks a lot, sir. Jackie Osborne, 85503, Sagaponack, Fernandina Beach. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to address this group this afternoon. I'll first give you the count for today and then show you some of the pictures from NCAS this afternoon. They have 58 dogs in the kennel, 72 of them are in foster. We have 22 cats in the cattery and 40 in foster. As I have advised you, we're into kitchen season. Many of those brought into the shelter went to foster homes because of their young age. They were fragile and still nursing. One gentleman who fosters cats a lot for the NCAS had a mother cat who had kittens. She nursed them. All of a sudden, 2 more kittens showed up, so she took them on as well as her own. And then after these 2 were done, and she had the 4, and then some more came in. And this required either somebody bottle feeding those kittens every 2 hours, 24/7. And thank goodness we've got foster parents and cats that apparently don't mind having 14 children at one time. Mom apparently didn't have a problem. Then last week, 4 more came in. This mother deserves a medal for taking on these babies. There are empty cages at the cattery since there are so many in foster. While this facility is way past its retirement age, please note the cleanliness of the facility is because of the staff and the management is evident throughout the building. Within the next couple of 3 weeks, there will be some kittens coming in that will have reached the weight limit they needed, and then 6 to 7 weeks, they're going to be overwhelmed with them. The pictures we have here are at the animal shelter. This is the Flora Park rooster. I feel the need to name them all, so I named him the Flora Park rooster. Seems he was making a nuisance of himself in the yards of several residents. One such resident was our chairman, Mr. Hupman.
I did not call that rooster in.
No, but
My dogs may have reacted to that rooster.
you didn't complain, but I knew that he was making the rounds. The staff went out at least 2 times, that's their story and they're sticking to it, and was finally successful in capturing and taking him back to NCAS. Flora Park rooster is still at the NCAS in the barn. Here are the dogs that we've got at the animal shelter right now. I watched the volunteers and the staff walk these dogs. They're friendly and desperately need a forever home. Please consider adopting when you decide to get a pet. These are just amazing animals. And then we've got the kitties. Like I said, we have very few cats in the cattery, and again, it's very clean in there. But these are the kittens, and I'm hurrying because I know my time is almost up. This has to be the end of it. There he is. He's the last. Okay. Last but certainly not least, I had a scheduling conflict last week when a follow-up meeting was held to the winter meeting that y'all had. And I forgot the name of the meeting, strategic planning, there you go. However, I did in fact look at it on the internet. I was so impressed by the information supplied to the public on how your tax dollars are being spent, ours. And of particular interest was the new animal shelter. You commissioners were very positive regarding the necessity of a new facility. This, along with the assistance of Mr. Pope and his staff, is evident of the hard work being accomplished on behalf of the citizens of Nassau County. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne.
I'm a little over 3 minutes, but you interrupted me.
I was trying to get Mr. Ironman to interrupt you and say that he would take that rooster back to his farm. But I didn't hear him speak up. So I don't,
My wife said no.
your wife said no. Okay, been overruled. County manager, any additional business tonight, sir?
I have none, sir, thank you.
Thank you. County attorney? Oh, yeah, right, okay, yep. Thank you for the reminder, Ms. Snell. Did you have additional business?
I have no additional business.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to go ahead and take a moment and recognize our water conservation efforts with tab C. Commissioner Martin, would you be up for meeting Doug there? And Doug, if you have a moment, come on up, thanks. We understand the traffic situation out there, and we're grateful for you being here at all.
proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, designating April 2025 as Water Conservation Month. Whereas water is a basic and essential need of every living creature. And whereas the state of Florida, water management districts, and Nassau County are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation. And whereas Nassau County and the state of Florida has designated April, typically a dry month when water demands are most acute, Florida's Water Conservation Month, to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources. And whereas Nassau County has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water. And whereas every business, we repeated ourselves, no. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community. Whereas outdoor irrigation comprises a large portion of water use, Nassau County encourages citizens and businesses to focus on improving outdoor irrigation efficiency. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, on this 14th day of April 2025, hereby designates April 2025 as Water Conservation Month and calls on each citizen and business to help protect our precious resource by practicing water-saving measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. And it is signed by our chairman, Commissioner Hupman, and attested to for form by our county attorney, Denise May.
Thank you so much, and I apologize for being late. I actually came up by way of the port, Heckscher, A1A, Amelia Island Parkway, which is a beautiful drive, but not when you're like, yeah! So yeah, it's a mess everywhere else. But I want to thank you for this 27th year we've been celebrating and recognizing the water conservation. The state recognizes that we have work to do, baby steps each year, making improvements, because as we grow, more water is being facilitated and being pulled from the aquifer. Instead of talking about leak adds to this, drip adds to that, or if you wake up and you see your driveway in the street, we might have a problem with where the head's going. I just want to briefly touch on the document that is really the foundational document from our standpoint that drives a lot of the water conservation and recognizes consumptive use permits and conservation elements. You're working, or you may have already passed the water supply facility work plan, something that all the governments in Northeast Florida are doing in accordance with that. It was passed initially in 2017, so the numbers it uses for data are 2015. It's 14 counties up here in Northeast Florida. 8 are in St. Johns River, and 7 are over in the Suwannee River. But the aquifer, as we know, is a big pond that's below us that covers basically 3 states, so it doesn't recognize jurisdictional restrictions. But basically, it manages water supplies. We do that through protecting our water sources and our natural resources. It covers a 20-year period, kind of like a comp plan. We passed our last one in 23, so this is up to 2045. But since the 15 time frame to now, to 2045, we will have a 49% population increase. We'll have a 32% increase in the water drawn from the aquifer, which in 2045 we estimate will be 698 million gallons a day. So that's an awful lot of water. A key element we have in the water supply plan is water conservation. If we are efficient and effective in implementing it, that's 80 million gallons a day that we can probably squeeze out of the turnip to help the cause. My math's not the smartest, but there's big delta there, so we do other things, alternative water supplies, recharge, reclaim water. Recharge and all of those other methods get very expensive. The Black Creek Water Project you've probably heard of is coming online in full this summer to the tune of $120 million. There's another one in the queue that will be 10 times in complexity and cost that will bring water out to Suwannee to address the minimum flows and levels, which are for the consumptive use permit people
are the restrictions that we put on the cups, because that's the aquifer telling you, you have a low oil light in the car. So we're working on addressing those, and water conservation is just a key element. We are always working with our local governments to help them in their water conservation, in their projects, cost share, you name it, we're here to help. Our artesian well program that you've heard about, since 2020, we have funded fully those plugins, and we have saved 78.4 million gallons a day. So we're doing our part. The consumption use elements, permits I've talked about, all the big cups are typically in-house right now, and they're going through a much more rigorous review of need and showing the need for that. And in some cases, they're getting shorter permits because we're trying to evaluate what are the minimum flows and levels telling us. So that is a big thing. But the good news is water conservation, I liken it to a New Year's resolution. Some can be good and some aren't so good. And you need three key things. You need a plan, disciplined implementation, and achievable metrics if we are to achieve meaningful sustainability. So that's why I just want to come here and say thank you to your commission, to your staff, and to your citizens for the disciplined approach to water conservation and helping us protect our water resource. So I thank you, a little late, but I thank you for your water conservation proclamation.
Thank you, Don. We appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
through the chair to Madam Clerk, I don't know if you got his name. It's Doug Conkey with the St. John's.
Doug Conkey, 7775 Bay Meadows Way, Jacksonville, Florida.
Thank you, Doug. All right, County Commissioner business. Commissioner McCullough, first up today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Doug, I was in that too. I called the chairman about 4:45 and I said, "Oh, I've been sitting here for over an hour on 108. I'll see if I make it." You know, wrecks happen, accidents happen. That's why we prepare and we're ready. We can't. There's nothing that the commission or the NCSO can do it when there is an accident on 95. We divert and we just go forward. Shout out to Mandy Connor and all of the women at the ARC, at the Nassau County School Board who work together. This is Caitlin's 12th year for the Caitlin's Ride for Autism, and this year we got to have it out in District 4, and I'm telling you, she blew it out of the water this year. There was over 100 entries. It was a great fellowship day. The weather could not have been more beautiful. I saw that video with NCAS, and there's a dog that looks just like Poppy up there who I already rescued, and I was like, man, he needs a brother that looks like him. So I'm just going to get some cards. Mr. Farmer suggested getting NCAS cards instead of getting dogs. Give cards to people so that other people adopt the dogs, and I don't bring home any more dogs. So I will get some NCAS cards to give out because I brought one of my rescues, and of course, you know, everyone's like, oh, it's a precious dog. So maybe I will get some more dogs adopted for you, Miss Jackie. So. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to steal your thunder.
Go ahead.
No, seriously. Are you going to speak about the songwriters?
I was not. Nope.
You're not?
Nope.
Then I'm going to steal what could have been your thunder.
Okay.
This past weekend, we had and the reason I'm saying this is because the county, via Tourist Development Tax dollars, we helped sponsor this event. And so recently, over the weekend, we had the Fernandina Beach Songwriters Festival. So you had a lot of local musicians. The guy we know here, Commissioner Huffman opened it up and did a solo act, which is not unusual for him, but this time it was mostly all originals. And he did a fantastic job out there for an hour and a half, doing all of his originals over the years that he's written. And it was a really, really good event. I didn't stay for the whole thing. I'm sure you probably went back and watched a lot more of it. But everything I heard, it was a great event with a lot of great local musicians. And I think folks, regional and national came by, to play. And it was at I should have known, but I had to go find it. It was at the Pavilion on 2nd Street. And if you haven't been there, it's a new venue that I think is going to be very, very popular going forward. I can't describe it and do it justice. So if you ever hear any events going on at the Pavilion on 2nd Street, or if you just want to drive by there to get your bearings and see what it is, I would advise you to check it out. It's very nice. It really is. And kudos to you, Mr. Chairman, on the, being so supportive of that event and kicking it off.
Thanks, Commissioner.
The other thing I have, okay, this one is, I didn't know how to handle this when a constituent came to me with an issue that they had. And so it was a constituent in another district, and typically when things like that happen, I punt. I say, you live in Commissioner so-and-so's district, so please, as a professional courtesy, go reach out to that commissioner and give that commissioner an opportunity to address your issue. But I didn't feel comfortable punting it this time, and so I went ahead and went to the county attorney to get some guidance on how to address this issue. And because we can't talk to each other outside of a public meeting, and punting it would have been talking about something we would have to vote on. That's the main reason I didn't feel comfortable punting it to another commissioner. So, long story short, a constituent reached out to me, and they have a home on the waterfront in Fernandina Beach, on the island, and there's this, I don't know if it's individual or business or what it is, that they have this, it's an aerial, what would you call it, Mr. Pope? What's a better description of it?
I think I called it a flying apparatus.
It's a flying apparatus, and it's like, it's not parasailing like a boat pulling somebody, but if you envision the parasail, okay, and like a go-kart, all right, a go-kart that it flies on its own, okay, it's that kind of aerial operation. And so evidently, this happens, 3-4 times a week for 4 or 5 hours at a time straight, right in front of this constituent's home, who lives on the beachfront. And she asked me if I could look into it because she had some concerns, and I'm gonna read the concerns. All I'm asking for here today is when I approached Ms. May about this, to look into some of these concerns, she said, I need to have direction from the commission to do that. I didn't, none of us had the authority to make that a tasking for her. So she told me that. I made sure not to violate sunshine, but through Mr. Pope, he was able to share this information with my colleagues, okay? And what I'm asking for today, I'm not asking for a vote one way or the other on her concerns. I'm not asking to regulate anything. What I'm asking is to give Ms. May direction to look into some things. And so some of the concerns were noise and community nuisance, gas-powered machinery / vehicle with environmental and safety concerns flying over and so close to pedestrians, children, and pets, no license or age restriction, concerns for safety of others, and potential accidents. So, again, I'm not asking for an opinion one way or the other. I'm asking, knowledge is power, and if this, I believe, with several things that have gone on recently, helicopters falling into the water, planes, all kinds of like very heavily regulated industries having major accidents and people getting hurt. I felt that it would be, I would be remiss if I didn't take this constituent's request on board and come to my colleagues and say, let's look into this. Let's look at what the liability is. Let's look at what, I'm not saying regulate it, I'm not saying do away with it, but let's look at it, all right, to see what Ms. May can bring back to us for consideration, if anything. And that's what I'm asking for. So we would need, there's no motion involved here, you just need a consensus, right? I would like to ask Ms. May to look into this type of operation for the various concerns that I mentioned and anything else that she, in her legal acumen, can think of.
Just for coastal counties, correct?
I'm looking at it.
Applied to beaches.
I'm looking at it where this is something that's happening on our beach, okay? And I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just saying, do we have any liability? Is this something that, should there be like a distance away from people on the beach? Should there, I don't know. You've heard me say this many times before. I try to put myself in the shoes of the constituent who's coming to me with their issue, and how would I feel if, for 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours a day, right in front of my house, if my house was on the waterfront, how would I feel about that? Would I feel safe? Would it be a nuisance to me? I don't know. And these are just the things I would like Ms. May to do a deep dive into going forward, and then bring that information back to us. And if we think it's a non-issue, it's 3 or 5, we'll carry the day. It's a non-issue, but I think we would be remiss if we didn't direct her to look into it.
I would, my comment would be, I would support taking a look at there. One, you've asked lots of questions in there, like licensing or aviation-related questions, because it's a flying machine. So I'd say let's take a look at that, where public safety and or nuisance is concerned, and see what shakes out on that. This is the first time I've heard it.
Was the email with the video?
Correct, it was,
Yeah.
first time I heard it was when that arrived by email, not from you, from Mr. Pope. So my comment would be, let's take a look at it and see what it is. I think they have to be licensed to operate, because I don't think you can just pop in one and take off, but I don't know that for a fact. So,
Anybody know what this thing is called?
yeah, it's called a paraglider, but it's got an engine. It's a powered paraglider.
Yeah,
right?
powered parachute.
Powered, there you go.
Power parachute.
I'm
just trying to gather
It's got a lawnmower engine with a blade on it.
We call them DT 4000s where I come from. DT stands for death trap.
Well, would you concur we should direct Ms. May to look into it then?
Yeah, I don't mind you digging into it, but I mean, I would like to make sure that it's applicable to public areas such as the beaches, you know what I mean? Because out there where I am, I mean, if you wanted to, you could fly whatever. You could hang on to a garbage sack in a windstorm for all I care out there in the hayfield.
So as I take the consensus is to go and do a little research on these power parachutes, personal paragliders. I'll bring back what I can learn about them in terms of their licensing ability, age restrictions,
Right.
what sort of things are already regulated potentially on these things, and what you might look at, or, I'll ask probably for further direction on what you would want me to look at that time.
Yeah, okay.
And not make assumptions on that, but bring back possibilities and then ask you for further direction.
Any other comments on that?
Yeah,
Appreciate the conversation.
Maybe decibels, you know what I mean, in comparison to the neighbor across the street that is out cutting their lawn. I mean, let's just see, is it apples to apples? I mean, because, in those areas, there is a lot of landscaping that goes on, so, in my opinion, if you're listening to a lawnmower in the backyard, how would it be any different listening to a lawnmower in the front yard? So you just want to make sure, it's like for like, just look into it.
I think more than just someone thinking it's a nuisance, I think it's the safety aspect of it. I would be, if I would have said to the constituent, that's never gonna fly. No pun on words, but, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna follow up on that, and then something happened and somebody got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I would feel terrible.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm not a new rule guy. Everybody knows that for sure. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like the safety of buildings, when all that was going on, and we had buildings, that weren't being looked at. And if we own buildings on the water, I'd say, feel the same way. Then we do our diligence and look into it.
And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Commissioner Farmer, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just going through the monthly newsletter. Of course, it looks great. I wanted to highlight a couple of things I saw in here that I thought were pretty interesting. Public Works on the solid waste side, they collected 27.77 tons in February of scrap metal, and that's equivalent to 55,540 pounds of scrap metal, which is almost 19 compact automobiles. That's pretty cool to read that and put it into context, that they've collected that much scrap metal, 4.43 tons of electronics, 24.19 tons of single stream recycling, 15.47 tons of cardboard, and 71.86 tons of this total collected for the recycling. So just, that's one of those groups at solid waste that they really are kind of out of sight and out of mind over there. They do a fantastic job. We just want to make sure and highlight that if you haven't seen this newsletter, I talk about it all the time, go to the countyinsider.com, and you can read all about the fine work that the men and women of the county do for you. I also like to give a shout out to the Connor family and everyone involved there at Caitlin's Ride for Autism this last Saturday. As Commissioner McCullough stated, it was a very, very beautiful day put on by some great people, and hopefully they were able to raise some money for the ARC and autism-related issues. Wanted to make sure that everyone saw that Tuesday, April the 22nd, from 9 to 11 a.m. at American Beach at 1600 Julia Street. They're going to have an Earth Day celebration, and they're going to be talking about invasive species and how to mitigate them on the dunes. And we'll have some representatives from UF and IFAS out there. So that'll be a really cool day. If you guys haven't seen that, you live over close to that area, recommend that you go see that event. Saturday, April 26th, you've heard me say it before, Friends of the NRA is over at Camp Sorensen at Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. Come out. If you want some more information on that, look me up. I'll tell you all about it and tell you how many thousands of dollars you got to bring with you. They're going to get you one way or another, but it is a good group, and it's got me in Facebook jail till the 4th of next month for weapons. Mr. Petrie contacted me at Sunshine Academy on Tuesday, May 13th. They're going to have the Great Shake-Off again, which is live interviews with students. I know that some of my commissioners here have participated in that before. I don't know if he's reached out to you yet on it or not, but if you don't have anything going May 13th and you want to come over and assist me in interviewing those young people, I can assure you, you won't regret it. It's a great time, and you'll get to see some of the great character of the young people on the west side. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer. Commissioner Martin, thanks for mentioning that. The festival was fabulous. I think it's going to grow. It's gotten a little bigger each year, and so they really have done a great job with that down there. Mr. Farmer, thanks for mentioning Earth Day. You guys are great. You're covering all the bases. Staff is kind of like family, honestly, and so we had the loss of Mr. Letson, which is family services will be this week. Thanks, Mr. Gilliard, for putting an extra prayer in there for the Letson family. Bad news side. On the good news side, like family, she may be angry at this, but Miss Amy Bell got engaged this weekend. So I wanted to congratulate Amy publicly and super news. Because you guys are all like family. So congratulations. Thanks for everything you do for all the staff. And if we have nothing else, there's a Nickelback.
I do, because I didn't want to take yours and Mr. Martin being veterans, but just a friendly reminder, starting Thursday, we will have the traveling wall at the Northeast Florida Fairgrounds. It is closed to the public Friday from 9 to 2 because of the field trips. Dr. Burns has all of the students in the Northeast Florida areas. It is not open to the public during that time because of the students there, but outside of that, it is 24 hours. I think people are like, oh, I won't be off work on time or this or that, but you can go there at 1 o'clock in the morning. You can go at 3 o'clock in the morning. It is going to be such a unique experience that so many people in our community have had their hands on, their help on, and I'm just so proud of the work that has taken place. So I just encourage every resident to come by at any time, whether 5 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, come by and see us at the fairgrounds this weekend, Mr. Hutman.
Thank you so much for that reminder, Commissioner McCullough.
Yeah.
I would have been super.
Appreciate that too, Mr. Chairman. We brought it up last meeting, and I was going to bring it up again Wednesday, but correct me if I'm wrong, and you've got the flyer, I have the flyer. I think there's an official opening ceremony.
There is, yeah.
It's on Saturday at 9 o'clock.
Yep. 9
Yes.
Yeah, so that should be, that should be pretty impressive.
Yep. It is. I don't have that
I have my
specific one,
card.
but yeah,
I know there's a special dinner for
We'll clear it up on
veterans,
Monday.
families, but
that's just veterans, yeah, the dinner.
yes, it's strictly for the veterans, correct?
Beyond
Yes, sir.
veterans specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you again for bringing that up. I appreciate that. It's a good Nickelback.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Great backup. Good teamwork makes the dream work.
Let's see if the traffic